Hi Kay, welcome to your tutorial. So today's video is really exciting. We haven't done one of these in a minute. Today we are doing a Patreon tutorial. Yes, if you have ever visited my Patreon page, you will know that the top tier, the $25 tier, grants you a bespoke, handmade, organic tutorial by yours truly. You can request any type of look, whether it be for an event or just for funsies. I will create something for you. Kay, my beloved patron, has requested I do a look featuring the colors burgundy, purple, and black. But I'm really looking forward to creating something for you, Kay, and I hope that you enjoy it. I will do my best to talk through everything as articulately as possible, but this tutorial is going to be quite tutorial focused. So we're gonna jump right on into the eyeshadow, and I will talk a bit more about my inspiration for this particular look once we zoom in. Also, I really hope that you're enjoying my middle school hair part. So let's pull some colors, shall we? Of course, what burgundy look wouldn't be complete without the Muerte palette. These three right here I feel like are going to serve us really well. I think I should dip into this guy because honestly, when you're going for brights or primaries, Sugarpill is your gal. Love Plus as a red, might dip into that. Poison Plum. Poison Plum is interesting. It's kind of matte, but also has a shimmer running through it. It's very subtle, but it does sometimes make it a little bit difficult to blend. If we're gonna do any shimmer on the lid, which I might not, but we'll see what happens, how it shakes out. We might do diamond on the lid, just as like a topper. But my inspiration for today is Miss Trixie Mattel. She did a Maybelline try on, and her look was very plummy, dark, smoky, and I've always wanted to try my hand at a Trixie-esque makeup look. So we're gonna take inspiration from that video today. We're not gonna go full Trixie. I clearly have not blocked out my brows, and we're not going to go so big with it, but the shape itself will do some sort of semblance of it. So let's just throw on some primer. Blending it out with a sponge gives you that really smooth canvas, and it's not nearly as patchy than when you blend it out with a finger. So we're going to start with red to move into burgundy, because I want that sort of very bright outer edge, just to give it a pop of color. Of course, I have not cleaned my brushes. That would be not very on brand for me, to be honest. Here's a little pro tip. If you're ever in a rush and you don't have time to clean your brushes, just get a little bit of 99% alcohol, put it in a spray bottle, spray it down, and then just dry your brush off on a towel, and you should get a relatively clean brush in about 5 seconds. Plus, 99% alcohol dries almost immediately, which means you don't have to wait for your brushes to dry. Let's go into Love Plus first, because it is a true red. I might dip into the Muerte palette after that, but I think this is a good place to start. So we're just gonna go right into Love Plus. I need to not do what I normally do, which is start the shape out in the outer corner, but actually put the shape right in the inner third and carve it out that way. So I'm using a bigger fluffy brush and kind of just stamping the red into this little curve shape, kind of angling it in this direction and letting it taper out in a downward direction toward the outer corner. So the emphasis and the movement is going in this direction, if that makes any sense. And I'm stamping the color on and then swirling around the edges to blend out. Sugarpill shadows are so easy to work with. Honestly, they don't take a lot of finesse. They kind of blend out really beautifully no matter what you do. And we're just building a general shape to start, so you can use a bigger brush in the beginning and we will taper as we go. And we're not building the shape out in this corner because we're just going to be putting a big old wing in that area, so there's really no point. And tapering it again down into the outer third. I'm gonna blend these two together to make a burgundy. This one is quite dark on its own, but I feel like when I blend it with Corazon, it gets nice and rich. So tapping into both of them at the same time, tapping off the excess, and just focusing it deeper into the socket. You can almost just follow the crease that your socket makes and blend sort of right into there. And again, I'm just stamping it. We want to make this nice and dark and smoky and rich, so we're not going to shy away from that deep tone. And again, pulling it downward in this outer third as opposed to upward like I usually do. And even when I blend it with Corazon, that dark burgundy shadow is quite dark. Don't mind the yard work happening downstairs, and we're giving that a really good blend. If you take it a little bit too far up into the red and you start to completely cover it, just go back in with your first brush and buff out those two areas where the shadows meet. So instead of going directly into black, I'm going to just deepen ever so slightly with the final red shade in this Muerte palette. It's called Velorio, and it's so dark it's almost black, but it still gives us just that hint of warmth. And we're just popping that right on the innermost portion of the crease, just to get that really pronounced depth of socket. And see how dark it is? It's almost black, but not quite. And again, we're just stamping that color on to get the most pigment possible. And for the purposes of a tutorial, I usually cut out a lot of blending time. At any given moment, I will be going back and forth between these three brushes and these three colors, like for at least 10 to 15 minutes more than what I show on camera, because blending takes time and you're not going to get the payoff right away, and it's not going to look perfectly blended right away. You got to work for it. If you're a perfectionist like me and taking the time is more important to you than expediency, then you shouldn't have a problem at all. And actually, this didn't take me as long as I thought it was going to. Even if I do bring this wing up really high and really sharp and angled, I'm still gonna have a little bit of lid peeking through. So I might carve that out later, but first let's just map out where that wing is going. Let's start with liquid liner and map out a big old chunky wing. Let's start with the outside edge. I'm gonna try and line it up with the lower lash line, and we're going to try and create an angle that angles up to the tail of the brow. Okay, that's okay. Now that we have this very intimidating line, let's try and connect it at the top. And I'm gonna do this with my eye open so that I can get the straightest line possible. Just like that. Before I fill that in, I'm going to, I think, maybe cut a little bit of this crease out. I don't know, should I? Yes. Where are you, crease brush? Why can't I find you? All right, get your flat brush, your concealer. I like just dabbing a little bit out onto my hand. Pick up more than you would expect. In order to get that really crisp, precise line, you want the brush to be loaded with product. And then we're just gonna kind of cut out this little half moon shape. Just like a little baby one, you know? And then fill the rest in. And I always cut above my natural crease so that when you look straight ahead, the crease is still visible. And then I think what I want to do is create a purple lid. Let's start off with Poison Plum from the Sugarpill palette on a little, it's not necessarily a fluffy brush, but it's also not a flat brush. It's like a fluffy, flat brush. And I use these generally for packing shimmers or anything onto the lid. This eyeshadow is a lot darker than I remember. But yeah, it's a bit too dark. Let's see, I've got a couple. Let's do this one from Colourpop. It is a single shadow called Seeing Stars. So I think we can just layer on top of this with Seeing Stars. And then on top of that, as if we don't already have enough eyeshadow, I do want to go in with a bit of shimmer. This is the perfect metallic purple in my opinion. It's called Fantasy. It's a Colourpop Super Shock. I've used it before on this channel, but it is worth mentioning again. Because can you blame me? I might actually make this crease a bit more pronounced, but I'm gonna let it lie for a minute just to see how I feel about it. And then on top of that, I really wanna bump up the shine level a bit more and brighten it up a bit. So we're gonna go into Diamond from the So Jaded palette, which is a very translucent, almost just a glitter topper. And we're just gonna layer right on top of that. Yeah, that's a little better. But I do want to just make this a bit bigger, just to emphasize that shape a little bit more, especially in this inner crease. Yeah, I just wanted that curve to be a bit more pronounced. I'm gonna get an even smaller brush and try and get in a bit more precisely with this Super Shock. That'll be cute. I don't mind that it's a bit darker in the center of that lid. And then let's go into Diamond just to top it off. What I think I want to do actually is go in with a black and try and emphasize that shape just a little bit more. So I'm going to take this teeny tiny pencil brush, dip it in some black eyeshadow, really sparingly, and just kind of go in on the outer edge of this crease just to provide a bit more contrast. But we don't want too much because I don't want to cover up the pretty burgundy red combination. I just want it to blend into it. Now what we're gonna do is we're going to fill in the wing, which is gonna take a minute because it's enormous. So I'm just going to take this gel liner from Sigma and kind of just go to town. And because we lost that line, I'm just going to put it back. That Sigma gel liner covers. All right, I think we're doing a pretty okay job so far. This wing is a lot, and I think I'm gonna drag it into this corner eventually. I just need to figure out the lower lash line before we do anything. So let's dip back into Love Plus and start shading underneath here, which is gonna be quite large. We're gonna connect it up to the wing. I might need a more precise brush. I just wanna be a bit more precise with this application because it's not just under the eye, it's like you drag it up here a little bit and then you also drag it down into this corner because you're going to actually paint your inner corner with white to create a new inner corner. You'll see what I mean in a second. So for now, we're just dragging it pretty far down the cheek. God, her wing is like so much bigger in reality than this. It's kind of insane. She basically just draws a wing that's like, that covers her entire lid space. We're not gonna go super extreme. We're just doing like baby Mattel. Let's move on to blending Corazon and Sangre to create some more depth. I just love this dark, plummy, rich burgundy shade. It's so beautiful. I know I've used this palette a lot on my channel recently. Can you blame me though? I'm just grabbing a bit more Love Plus for the edges. Okay, and then dipping into Velorio, which is that darker burgundy. Trying to wipe off this brush and then go back into Love Plus every now and then just to tame that blend a little bit, and then buffing the edge. You know, it's not perfect, but there's no but. I don't have anything else to say about that. I think I am gonna do a little bit of liner in this area just to create that false inner corner. Let's start off by mapping it this way with a little bit of liner. I actually blacked out my true inner corner so that this space becomes the new inner corner, if that makes any sense. To smoke it out a little bit more, I don't want it to be so harsh and graphic. I'm gonna take more of that gel liner and see if we can't get it a little bit more smudgy on the lower lash line, like right in here. And then we'll take pencil brush, dip it into the black eyeshadow. For the record, I've been using the Sugarpill black eyeshadow. I can't remember what it's called, but it will be in the description box down below. And then let's try and get this really blended into the top wing. I just want the lower lash line to be very concentrated in black, but also very diffused. I don't hate it. I don't hate it today. Let's take the jumbo eye pencil in the color Milk and a little brush. And when it's all loaded up on the brush, let's just cut this out. Back into the black liner just to reinforce that edge. I'm just taking a little bit of white eyeshadow to set that so it doesn't go anywhere. I think the last thing I want to do actually before we go is put some matte white eyeshadow. I'm just using Tako on the brow bone to really highlight that arch, blending it in with the red on the edge. Is she a woman yet? That's gonna be it for now for eyeshadow. I'm gonna do that all on the other side. Wish me luck. Then I'll put on some lashes, and when we get back, we'll finish the rest of the look. Oh, lashes, you make everything make sense. Really coming together, I think. I got out the largest lashes that I have in my possession, which is the Glam Goth Beauty Hollywood lashes. Vegan, cruelty-free, stunning, easy to put on, and enormous. If you haven't seen that video yet, I will link it up here. I also chopped up a pair of Rouge and Rogue Slayers to add a little bit more volume to the lower lash line as well. I feel like I need to chisel my nose a bit more now that I'm wearing so much makeup on my eyeballs. This bronzer is particularly cool toned, which is why I find it okay to use on the nose for contouring. I'm going to tuck a little bit of that under the lip as well. I'm even gonna hit the very back of the hollow of the cheek. I don't wanna go too hot with the blush or too orange. Also, I feel like this red eyeshadow definitely calls for a cooler toned blush. So we're gonna go with something a little bit more Dolly Pink, which is this sky right here. I'm gonna focus that a little farther back than the apple because I don't want the blush to be too far forward, just to give us a bit more definition. Hit the chin, because you know, chin blush for life. I just want to ever so slightly hit the nose with this, but not too much. Like kind of just right on the bridge. And I'm trying not to make the blush as widespread as I usually do. I'm trying to concentrate it sort of directly just above the little button. Can you imagine if I blocked out my brows and did full Trixie? My whole face would just be eye. Let's do a little bit of this glowy blush in the ambient edit palette. And that can go more focused on the apple of the cheek because there's less pigment in that one. So when you smile, that blush will just catch the light. Let's do Molten Rose Gold by Maybelline. Once we spray down, I'll probably add some Fenty. Are we doing freckles? Let's do a little bit. Just on the nose, like not too many. I don't want to make this about freckles, you know. Sometimes it's not about freckles and you just have to accept that. See how much restraint I just demonstrated? Aren't you proud of me? Let's do lips, or at least let's line them before we do anything else. Trixie's all about a pinky nude, so that's exactly what we're gonna do. We're gonna do a pinky nude. Please ignore the actual scabs in the corners of my mouth. For some reason, my lips have been super dry lately and I don't want to talk about it, okay? Okay, lipstick. Oh gosh, that's overwhelming. The amount of peachy nudes in this drawer. I have a problem. All right, let's start with the now defunct Kink Cosmetics in the shade Role Model. Like truly RIP Kink Cosmetics, you made a killer lipstick. We're gonna blot that off. Go in with Furless Cosmetics Imposter Lip Gloss, which is their collab with Jordy. Ow, ow. See how it's actually bleeding? Like truly ignore me. Let's go in with a little bit of Fussy, which is the Fenty Gloss Bomb, ever so gently in the center because she is very glossy. Okay, let's spray her down. While it is still damp, let's go in with a little bit of How Many Carats, just right on the high points. I I've got my own built-in pussycat wig. Oh my gosh, Maddie. All right, folks, this is the look all complete. A lot fewer roadblocks than I anticipated originally, but actually went pretty smoothly, all things considered. I feel really pretty, to be perfectly honest. This is pretty much what I envisioned, and I really like it when that happens. I love when the thing in my head becomes the thing on my face. It's okay, I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. If you do want to recreate this look, please tag me on Instagram. But if this was just for fun, I hope that you enjoyed it. I love making Patreon tutorials. I love someone giving me an idea, some parameters, and then figuring out a way to create within those parameters. If anyone out there is interested in getting a bespoke tutorial by yours truly, please go check out the Patreon link down below. And I'm gonna go on the bus like this and probably scare a few locals. So I'm gonna rattle off the spiel to you. Here are the many ways that you can help out my channel. You can give this video a huge thumbs up. You can comment down below what you thought of everything. You can subscribe. You can follow me on other social media. I will leave those right there. And if it is available to you during this really tumultuous time, please check out the Patreon link down below. A huge thank you to all my patrons. Y'all are so generous and so lovely. My BLM offering for you in this video is a new podcast by the people that brought you Serial. Serial now has their own podcast network, which works with the New York Times, and they are producing a podcast called Nice White Parents. And I just listened to the first couple episodes. Absolutely eye-opening and worth a listen. All right, folks, stay safe, stay sane, wear a mask, wash your hands. Black Lives Matter, justice for Breonna Taylor. The list goes on, but please, above all else, be kind and be generous, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.